Welcome back to Piper's podcast for petty professionals in politics. Today I'm joined here with Chad Miller and Sharon Smith, and I am Piper Lyon. On this episode, we will be discussing immigration policies and the Muslim travel ban with college students. Chad and Sharon, do you guys want to give a little introduction to our listeners?
Thanks, Piper. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm Chad Miller, born and raised in sunny Florida. I'm a full-time student at SDSU, but I'm also the president of SDSU's College Republicans Club. I'm really excited to give my views on how the Muslim ban can actually benefit our country and why Trump's latest policy could actually help our country.
And I'm Sharon Smith, originally from Scranton, Pennsylvania, but I go to UCI. I'm looking forward to talking about the travel ban, especially since I support immigration rights and am an active member of the National Network for Immigration and Refugee Rights, or the NNIRR for short.
Thank you, Sharon and Chad, for joining us today. We know that immigration is a serious topic here in the U.S. In 2017, Trump enacted Executive Order Number 13769, titled Protecting the Nation from Foreign Terrorist Entry into the U.S. The order bans 7 Muslim countries from entering the U.S. as well as coming out. Here is what Trump had to say about it. Also, we have another clip from Trevor Noah on The Daily Show. Here's what Trevor Noah had to say about the ban. Recently, in 2019, the State Department refused more than 37,000 visa applications in 2018 due to the Trump administration's travel ban, up from less than 1,000 the previous year when the ban had not fully taken effect, according to the agency data released on Tuesday. That really didn't go together. This data has sparked new controversy on this policy and has shown how much the policy has actually affected the country. What were your initial thoughts on the ban?
Well, I'm all for it. The ban seems like a good way to protect the safety and well-being of our country. What about you, Sharon?
Even the title of the executive order is insulting and racist, making our country look xenophobic. A real-life example showing why this ban is bullshit is the New York terrorist attack on Halloween of 2017 in Manhattan. The perpetrator of the attack, Sayfullo Saipov, is a 29-year-old immigrant to the United States from Uzbekistan. However, he immigrated here in 2010. His case has nothing to do with bad people sneaking into the country. The real challenge is dealing with people already in the U.S., immigrants or native-born, who are radicalized to violence within its borders.
I don't know if I agree with you, Sharon. The facts are that Muslim immigrants are way more likely to plot some terrorist attack against the U.S. Here's a clip from Fox News, America's favorite source of unbiased news. This clip outlines the benefits of the ban from the views of a Muslim person. Clearly, even Muslims advocate for the safety of our country over anything. There's been far too many instances of crimes from illegal immigrants in our country for the U.S. to simply do nothing. The amount of Muslims entering our country each year has risen from 2007. And according to the Pew Research Center, the Muslim population in the U.S. has increased from 2.3 million in 2007 to 3.45 million in 2017. That's a big difference. These numbers continue to rise, and so does our risk of terrorism.
I think I still agree with Sharon. A lot of Muslim Americans are trying to live their normal lives. For example, I recently watched a comedy film on Netflix performed by Hassan Minhaj, who is a Muslim American with parents who are immigrants from India. Here's a short clip explaining the struggles his mother faced when trying to get an American visa.
Exactly, Piper. Even before the travel ban, it was difficult for Muslims to come into the U.S. The travel ban was only motivated by xenophobia and has not made any significant progress in reducing the amount of terrorism in our country, according to the Cato Institute. The original order presented in 2017 was found unconstitutional by the Supreme Court and had to be revised multiple times.
Yeah, well, even though the original policy was found unconstitutional, later revisions are perfectly constitutional and they've been passed by the Supreme Court. So I really don't see what the problem is. This country needs a policy like this.
So what are your opinions on the immigration rates?
Well, funny you should ask, because I recently read a chapter from a textbook called Shaped by the West, Volume 2, by Deverell and Hyde. And the chapter called Immigration Roils the West, there was an immigration raid in Wyoming, and teams of federal officials and local police entered hotels and restaurants asking dark-skinned workers for their immigration papers. This shows just how racist these workers are, just by assuming dark-skinned people Like, instead of walking up to a white-skinned person and asking them for their papers, they would only target people who looked ethnic. That's a whole other issue. And these federal officials busted 120 Mexican undocumented workers. But just over a little week after they busted the 120 workers, 116 were already back on the job in Wyoming. This proves that the immigration raids are just completely stupid and pointless. And one of the workers called it himself, quote, really stupid, unquote.
Well, actually, Sharon, I also read DeVrel and Hyde because I was assigned that for SDSU. And what I remember clearly from Trump's statements, he also said he's removing gang members, drug dealers, and criminals that threaten his community. He says, bad ones are going out as I speak tonight, and as I have promised. Therefore, there is a reason for these immigration raids, because we need them in order to remove criminals and drugs from our country and keep our country pure.
Speaking of immigration raids, Immigration and Enforcement Customs, or ICE, their mission is to promote homeland security and public safety by enforcing U.S. federal, criminal, and civil laws concerning border control. Why are you laughing? Customs, trade, and immigration. Do you guys believe they accomplished this?
I think they do. They do their best to uphold the mission statement. They do their best to uphold this mission. They do their best to uphold this mission statement. ICE is just doing their job, promoting the country or protecting the country. ICE is just doing their job, protecting the country and stuff. Everyone gets mad at cops too, but you need everyone gets mad at cops too, but you need them in the country to maintain order and keep people safe.
You just said cunt.
You're cunt. Leave me alone.
He did say cunt.
Everyone gets mad at cops too, but you need them in order to keep the country safe and maintain order. Go.
Alright, Chad. Well, I personally disagree. I believe ICE is harmful more than it is helpful, and their removal of undocumented workers by force only tears families apart. An example of this is depicted in Lin-Manuel Miranda's powerful music video, Immigrants, We Get the Job Done.
This isn't the only time Trump's policies have made a big impact on the country. In 2018, Trump's government shutdown had many people angry. On January 24, 2019, Hawaii News Now published an article called, With No End in Sight to Government Shutdown, TSA Agents at Hawaii Airports Start to Resign, by Allison Blair. It reported that TSA officers in Hawaii airports had started turning in their resignations and that the amount of government employees participating in the resignations was unclear.
I get that the government shutdown was a big deal and a lot of people were hurt by the policies that Trump put in play, but he vowed to build this wall and no one in the government listened to him. He's just trying to accomplish what he promised the people in his election.
Chad. It is not just about accomplishing his policies. The TSA is one of the lowest paying organizations in the government. So the government shutdown affected many of the workers in dramatic ways. The effects of this change for many included moving back in with parents, taking out personal loans, and eviction from their houses. Senator Mazie Hirono argued that Trump was negotiating from a hostage-taking position by holding government workers' livelihoods at stake to get what he wanted. Trump's manipulation of the government in order to control immigration has highlighted the lengths Trump is willing to take to make his wall successful. If he is willing to go this far with his border wall, it just shows how little he cares about the people affected by his immigration policies. It's like a guy just trying to brag about himself to make a point. He just wants to accomplish something, so he goes down in history. He doesn't really care about the welfare of the American people.
Yeah, but this separate incident doesn't reflect all that he's done in office. He definitely has some policies that are questionable, but I still believe the Muslim ban in America is just in America's best interest.
I'm sorry, I just still have to disagree. The travel ban is not effective at protecting America from outside threats because most of the terrorist activity comes from people already in the country. According to research by New America, a Washington-based think tank, of the 13 perpetrators of lethal jihadist terrorist attacks in the state since 9/11, which killed a total of 94 people, all who are American citizens or legal permanent residents. If you really wanted to lower mortality rates, then maybe you should be pro-gun control.
Gun control does seem to be a hot topic related to this issue. While I believe guns can be beneficial for people's protection, in like areas like Texas, access to these weapons also causes terrorism that can happen from both domestic and foreign threats.
Even if gun control is not the best solution for this country right now, there are better options in targeting certain countries from entering the U.S., especially when most of the immigrants trying to come here are clearly seeking work opportunities and a chance at a better life.
I tend to agree with Sharon on this one, Chad. Most immigrants from these countries, although stereotypical antagonists to the U.S., are not looking to maliciously attack the U.S.
I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it. I've always held the belief that American government should protect its citizens, but the threat of terrorism from these countries doesn't seem to justify the extreme approach Trump's taking. Maybe there is a better way to go about this.
Now that we have heard both sides of the issue, what are some ways the audience can support?
Well, I personally encourage everyone to exercise their right to vote. As college students, especially as a lot of freshmen, they just recently turned 18 and are now able to exercise this right. Some of the candidates who are probably running for the presidential election in 2020. How do I word that, guys? That was just rough. Some of the
Here's some potential candidates who support this.
That's the word. Okay. Are we
This is
still
right
going?
there.
Yeah, we're still going.
Okay. Here are some potential candidates that support pro-immigration rights. First off is Kamala Harris. Kamala W. Harris is an American attorney and politician and a member of the Democratic Party. She also has served as the junior United States Senator for California since 2017, and she previously served as the 32nd Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017, and as District Attorney of San Francisco from 2014 to 2011. Therefore, she is very experienced in government, and so she has a lot of experience in running for presidency. And her views on immigration. She is vocal champion of the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals in the DACA program, so she very much is for immigration rights.
So on that one, you said 2014 to 2011.
No, I didn't. Did I really? Some potential candidates for the upcoming 2020 presidential election are Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders. First off, Kamala Harris is an American attorney and politician and a member of the Democratic Party. She has served as junior United States Senator for California since 2017, and she previously served as the 32nd Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017, and as District Attorney of San Francisco from 2014 to 2011. Her views on immigration are very important, as she is the vocal champion of Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, or the DACA program. Bernie Sanders ran for presidency in 2016 against Donald Trump. He is an American politician who has served as the junior United States Senator from Vermont since 2017, and he thinks Trump's views on immigration is heartless. At the heart of his immigration policy is to unite families, not divide them. Like Harris, he also supports the Dreamers program and Obama's reforms on DAPA as well. Immigration is a topic that means a lot to me personally because many of the friends I've made here at UCI are first-generation students, more specifically first-generation immigrant students whose families came to the U.S. for a better chance at life.
Oh, that's a great way to be involved in the Muslim ban discussion. Thank you all again for coming on the show.
Thanks, Piper. It's been a pleasure. And it has been eye-opening to see the other side. I feel like I definitely learned something today.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
If you listeners want to show support to the movement against the Muslim ban, here are your options. Join the National Network for Immigration and Refugee Rights, or the NNIRR. You can also vote for Kamala Harris or Bernie Sanders in the upcoming primaries. Also, if you want to learn more about how to get involved with your Republican scene on campus, go to the College Republican National Committee website at crnc.org. Chad also wants to drop his Instagram as well, so follow at ChadMiller69 for some sick pictures of Chad drinking. Thank you, Sharon and Chad, for being here today. As always, I'm Piper Lyons, and have a piping hot day.